Do you have an unsolved Rubik's Cube that's been collecting dust?
Don't worry, the answers you're looking for are right here. In this video, you will learn a foolproof method for solving the Rubik's Cube that works every time. Let's get started.
Before we get into solving the cube, there is some notation you need to know. A U-move is when you turn the top layer of the cube clockwise when the face you're turning is facing towards you, like so. So doing it normally would look like this. A U-prime move is when you turn the top layer of the cube anti-clockwise. The same as before, the anti-clockwise motion is when the face you're turning is facing towards you, like this. But you would do it in this position. An R move is when you turn the right layer of the cube clockwise, like so. And an R prime move is in the opposite direction, just like with the U moves. Generally, the principle for Rubik's Cube notation is that any move of any layer is turned clockwise unless it is prime. If any notation comes up later in the video, I will clarify exactly what it means. Step 1. The daisy. To solve any Rubik's Cube, you need to make a cross. To make a cross as a beginner, the best method is to create a daisy. On the cube, there are centers, edges, and corners. To create a daisy, we need to get all the white edges around the yellow center. Hold the yellow center at the top of the cube. There are 4 white edges on the cube and they can be in one of 6 positions. If the white edge is already in the top layer and facing upwards, then we don't need to move it as it is already part of the daisy. If the white edge is in the top layer but the white edge is facing towards you, then you need to do a set of moves to make sure it's facing upwards. Here we are going to do an F move, which is turning the front of the cube clockwise. Once we have done this, all we need to do is an R move to get it into the top layer. We now have 1 petal of the daisy. If a white edge is on the left side, as shown, all we need to do is an L prime move, which is turning the left face anti-clockwise. Be careful that the edges already in the top layer are not being affected by your moves. If they are being affected, like this, simply move the white edge out of the way of where you're moving the next one, and then insert it into the top layer, like this. If a white edge is on the right side, all that needs to be done is an R move to get it into the top layer. If a white edge is in the bottom layer but facing forward, we will use 2 moves to get it in the top. The first move would be an F, as shown earlier. The second move would be an L prime. If a white edge is on the bottom but facing downwards, then all that needs to be done is an F2 move. This is just moving the front layer twice. Now that you know all possible orientations for white edges, you should now be able to make the daisy. Here is an example of making the daisy. We already have this white edge in the top, and we have this one on the right, so we do an R move to get this into the top layer. Then we notice that this one has come up onto the right, so we move this out of the way and put this one into the top layer by doing an R move. Now we need to find the next one, which is also on the right side. So we move all the white pieces out of the way to make sure that we can insert it into the top layer without wrecking any of the other ones, and now we have a daisy on the top layer. Step 2. Completing the cross. You should now have a daisy on the top of your cube. This means we are ready to move on to the next step. What we will be doing in this step is getting all the white edges on the bottom so that we form a cross. To do this, we need to see the colours on the side of the white edges. This one, for example, is orange. We need to line up this white-orange edge with the orange centerpiece, like so. To do that, I just did a U prime move, but depending on where yours is, you might have to do a U move or a U2 move. Once we have done this, all we need to do is an F2 for this white edge to be on the bottom and correctly lined up with its colour. This step is to be repeated with the other colours by moving the top layer and lining up the colours until they are all on the bottom of the cube, like this. We have a cross. Step 3. The first layer. You should now have a cross on the bottom of your cube, like so, with all the colours lined up. If so, great job. If not, review the previous steps until you can complete the cross. The next step is to complete the first layer of the cube. For this, we need to learn a sequence of moves commonly known as the sexy move. The sexy move is these following moves: R, U, R prime, U prime. Remember this as it is important for this step. What we now need to do is look for white corners, like this one. Once one has been found, look at the other colours on the corner piece. Bring the corner piece to the side of the cube with those colours by turning the top layer. In this case, it is already in the white position as it is above the red-green slot. But for example, this one is not in the correct place as it is above the blue-red slot and would need to be moved to the green-orange slot like this. Once it is in position, all you have to do is repeat the sexy move until the white corner is in its slot. Like this. R, U, R prime, U prime. 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 R, U, R prime. And now you see that the corner is in its correct slot. This step is to then be repeated with the other corners like this one until they are all in their correct slots, like so. R, U, R prime. Take this one out because it is in a slot and move it. Okay. R, U, now it is in the slot. And now we need to do the red-green one. R, U, R prime, U prime. 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 R, U, R prime. And now the first layer is completed. Congratulations, you have now solved one side of a Rubik's Cube. Now that the hard part's over, the next steps are based around algorithms. An algorithm is a sequence of moves, just like the sexy move, that moves certain pieces to certain positions of the cube. What we are going to do next is complete the second layer of the cube. Firstly, locate any edge on the cube that does not have yellow on it, like this one. Once you have done this, look at the colour on the side of the edge. In this case, it is orange. And line it up with the centerpiece with the same colour. Now that we have done this, there are two possibilities. Take a look at the colour on the top of the edge. If this colour is on the right side of the cube, we will need to do this algorithm. Up, R, U prime, R prime. Now, turn the cube so that the colour on the top is facing towards you. U prime, L prime, up, L prime. We have now inserted this edge into its correct slot. If the colour on the top is on the left side, we need to do this algorithm. U prime, L prime, U, L. Turn the cube so the top colour is facing towards you. Up, R, U prime, R prime. And now this one is also inserted. If the edge piece is not in the top layer at all and is in one of the slots, we need to do one of the following. If the colours are flipped, all we need to do is take the edge and the white corner out of the slot by doing R, U, R prime. Now that both the edge and the corner should be in the top layer, turn the cube so that the colour on the top of the edge is facing towards you. Then do these moves. U prime, and then reinsert the corner by doing the sexy move but opposite on the left side. L prime, U prime, L. Once it is in, we can now insert the edge piece by doing the same steps as before. Notice the orange is on the right side and do the algorithm as before. U, R, U prime, R prime. Turn so the colour on top is facing towards you. U prime, L prime, U, L. Now the edge should be the right way round. If the edge is in the slot and is already matching the colours, then we don't need to do anything. Once this is done for all the edges that are non-yellow and you can see a clear second layer, you have now completed the second layer of the cube. Step 5. completing the yellow layer across. The second to last step of solving a Rubik's Cube is solving the yellow side. For beginners, we need to create a yellow cross. Currently, on the top of the cube, you should have one of four things: a dot, a line, an L shape, or a cross. If the top layer has a dot, we need to complete this algorithm 3 times. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And again, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. You should now notice some sort of line being formed. If you do, turn the cube towards you so that the line is horizontal, and then repeat the algorithm again. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. There is now a cross on your cube. If the top of the cube has an L shape like this, hold it like this and complete the algorithm as before twice. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And then again, F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. There is now a cross on your cube. If the top of your cube has a line, hold the cube so that the line on the top is horizontal and do the algorithm once. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And you should now have a cross on your cube. If your cube already has a cross on the top, then you don't need to do anything. Step 6. Matching edge colours. Now that you should have a cross on the top of your cube, we need to match the colours on the yellow edges to the colours of the centres. If all the colours are already matched, you can skip this part. Turn the top layer of your cube until you find 2 edges that match 2 centres. This is not 2 edges, as these ones do not match. We have found 2 edges as these 2 match. If these 2 solved edges are next to each other, hold the cube so that the unsolved edges are both in the front and the left, and do this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R, U. The edges should now be lined up with the colours of the centres. However, this algorithm may need to be done multiple times for all the edges to match the centres. I'd like to note that in the start, if the 2 solved edges are opposite from each other, then the cube can be held in any position. Step 7. Match the corners. The second to last step of solving a Rubik's Cube is to put all the yellow corners in the right position. A yellow corner is in the right position if the colours on the corner match the ones on the front and the right when you're holding the cube in this position. Hold any corner that is already correct in the front right. If you don't have any, like in this case, hold the cube in any position. We then need to do the following algorithm. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U, L. Now either all your corners will be solved, or some or one will be solved. Now what you need to do if they are not solved is turn the cube and hold any corner that is in the correct position on the right front hand side and repeat the algorithm. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. Now they should all be in the right place. If they are not, repeat the step again. Step 8. Finish the cube. If you have made it this far, great job. We are now going to do the last step of solving the cube. The final thing that we have to do is move the yellow corners so that the yellow is facing upwards. Hold any corner that doesn't have yellow facing upwards in the front right. Now repeat these following moves until the yellow is facing upwards. R prime, down prime, which is turning the bottom layer of the cube anti-clockwise. R, down. R prime, down prime, R, down. Now that you have yellow facing upwards, this is the only time you turn the top layer of the cube so that a new edge that doesn't have yellow facing upwards is in the front right. Don't worry about the cube looking messed up, this is normal for this stage. Now, R prime, D prime, R, D. 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 Now all you have to do is move the top layer so that all the colours match. Once you've done this for all 4 of the corners, congratulations, you should have now solved a Rubik's Cube. If the cube isn't solved, make sure to go back and make sure you've done the steps right. I hope this tutorial has helped you solve your very first Rubik's Cube. Subscribe for more interesting and fun cubing videos. That's it for now. Bye!